What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to be going over none other than my 17th place. We bubbled at the Digimon Online Regionals Reaper deck. So Mama's here to play and tell you a little bit about herself. So we're going to do a deck breakdown a little differently this time around. So if you like the new style, let me know down in the comments, maybe something I can improve on, and let me know. And we'll talk more about this shortly. So first off, we played none other than our 4 Mama Reapers. So what's really awesome about Mother Reaper is basically this is the only Digitama you're going to be playing. The reason for that is all turns the Digimon cannot attack or is affected by your opponent's card effects. So they can't remove sources from her, any of that kind of stuff. Main phase, if you don't have a Mother in play, place 180 Searcher from in play or from your hand under this Digimon as a bottom card. So it really does help out there. And then when you would play a card with Reaper in its traits, from your hand, you may reduce the play cost by 1 for each of that Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards. So it really does help out at the end of the day, just because Mama's going to do what Mama needs to do. So that is what we play for Digitama. Next, let's talk about it. We also have none other than 4 of our beautiful Starmon. So the reason for this card is because we get to wide boards and we need to be able to pop Psychmons. And that's really what it comes down to. Popping the Psychmon is what we need to do, and Starmon helps you get there. But also can help you get to removing big threats off board with Palates Head, and especially if you can get Palates Head up to 12, when he comes down, that could mean getting rid of a Death X, and that's really important at some points. And that's just how that goes right there. Now let's talk about the big boy in the room. We have none other than Searchers. We are playing a grand total of 18 lovely Searchers. So that means, boys and girls, that Searcher is one of the prime candidates. So Searcher allows you to have 50 copies. We're not playing 50 copies. But when you would play this Digimon from hand, reduce the play cost by 2 if you don't have another Searcher in play. So it comes in for 1. And if you want, you can reduce the cost of it to be free with Searcher. So with Mama's effect. And then you get to draw a card, but it can't attack players, but it can attack Digimon. But also the inheritable is all your Digimon with D-Reaper in its traits get 1000 DP. So allowing us to gain some forward momentum advantage. And that's what our hope is. 18 felt really good. There was sometimes I might have wanted one more to show up, but 18 is fine. I think that is perfectly acceptable. Next, we are playing 4 of Bubbles. Bubbles is nasty. It has a security and on-play effect. Both are activated at the same when just activates. So Bubbles lets us, if you place one, you may place one of your Searchers from in play or from your hand under one of your Mothers as a bottom Digi-Evolution card. This is important because especially if they hit Bubbles early enough, you could start filling in Mama really quickly depending on your hand or on field, and now alleviate some of the Searchers on board, and it just gets you there. On play, it's the same thing as a security effect, so it's gonna just matter when this card gets revealed, and sometimes it gets Mama going pretty quickly. So that's something to think about. Now we do have Pendulum Feet. So Pendulum Feet on play, reveal 3 cards from your deck, add 1 card with D-Reaper and traits, and 1 Searcher among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. This is your Searcher of the deck. This card helps you out so much, and it's not even funny. So remember this, guys, that you want to be able to play Pendulum Feet as consistently so that you can keep your Searchers coming. So never forget that you want to grab the Searchers. So, and then timing for other Reapers is important. So if you miss out on certain ones, you might want to get those pieces. Jeri is very awesome. We play 4 of her. So main, you may suspend this Digimon to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 Searcher among them under one of your Mothers as a bottom Digi-Evolution card, and then place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. So basically, Jeri's going to do the fun stuff here. you know, suspend her. You're going to reveal top 5, add 1 to hand. What really does help out nicely is that with that 5, now the rest of the 4 cards, you get to stack how you want it. So now you can start cycling your deck and know when a key piece is coming. Or maybe when you need to go double Gatekeeper, you can set up for a recovery play, get 1, 2 in there, and then that can really throw your opponent off pretty quickly. And then we do have 4 of our beautiful big boss boy, Gatekeeper. The reason why I say this is because the security effect, play this card without battling and without paying its memory cost. Doesn't really cause battling, that's fine. We'll swing into it while it's rested, and because Gatekeeper will be big. On play, recovery 1 if you have Mother in deck. This helped me win a game because it got hit, and then instantly they recovered, and they lose game. And then opponent's turn, while you have Mother D-Reaper with 6 or more Digievolution cards in play, all your opponent's Digimon gets minus security attack 1. So, basically, Gatekeeper really puts in the work. It is one of our most important pieces in the deck, and it's going to help us win majority of our games more than not. And then we do have a Reaper for the Reaps. So, when you would play this Digimon, you may trash 7 or more Digievolution cards from the bottom of one of your Mother D-Reapers to reduce its Digievolution cost to 0. So this gets around PsychMom, which is very important because reducing it to 0 is not... It's not what the word says. There's an errata. It just becomes 0. So the play cost. So it's not a reduce. And then Rush, being able to swing in, but also when attacking, you may play 2 Searchers from your trash under this Digimon in any order as a Digievolution card to unsuspend this Digimon. So basically, this is where our multi-attacking OTK comes from. Reaper is nasty, and you never want to get caught on the backside of that card. We are playing 2 Palates heads. The reason for Palates head is basically simple. If we have a Mother D-Reaper in play, you may suspend this Digimon to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon. So basically what Palates head's going to do for us is suspend himself. As long as he's big enough, he's going to remove threats. And especially if we can set him up properly, we can have Palates head up and ready to go to start popping those PsychMons. The sooner we can get him to stick, the better we're off. And the reason for that is we need to remove threats, and it also helps in the mirror match. 1 is never enough. 2 is exactly where you want to be because you can start popping things and keeping them off their momentum. And then we have Creep Hands. This is our blocker of the deck, and just straight up blocker. Sometimes we need to protect our Mother, and that's our only way we're doing it. Just kidding. Just protect our life in general. And it's just big enough. Sometimes it just gets there to reach numbers. It's a 6K. And then we do have DeathXmon. This card was none other than being MVP of the whole tournament. The reason for that is because it comes in for a reduced cost. But on play, when Digivolving, de-Digivolve all your opponent's Digimon, then delete all your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Really important. And sooner you get them out in the Mass Day matchup, sometimes that's just enough to keep them off board state because they can't keep up if they don't have PsychMon. Opponent's end phase, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. Control is control. We love it. DeathX is going to be what we need. And that is our hope and future for our deck here. And then none other than 3 X Antibody options. This card is straight up, so while you have a Digimon in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. That's fine. And then gain 1 memory and add this card to your owner's hand. Place this card under one of your Digimon without X Antibody. Its Digievolution card is a bottom Digievolution. So that's really important. This is basically saying without this card, and effects cannot trash X Antibody and its Digievolution cards, and this Digimon can Digivolve into an X Antibody. The reason why we play this option is it gets us a Gatekeeper sooner, it reduces costs sooner, and it's just very important. So I do want to thank the judges from the Gen Con event. You did a great job. The only thing I wasn't a huge fan of was that you allowed open borders, and the European side, or, you know, international players didn't get their invite. So, and then that meant that North American players didn't get their, like, a couple invites because you have an open border policy, but that's just kind of under like the radar. It kind of was annoying to see that there was just like 3 dead invites for North America because they counted it as Bandai's rule of you can't move it down, but this event should have that exception if you're going to have open border policy, that the next American players would get to it. So that at least if there was this situation again, they could definitely change that up. Hopefully Bandai, if people voice enough of their concerns about it, I feel like that would open up some very valuableness on that. So that's something we have to address later. So let's dive into the matchups. First off, I faced against Mastemon. Mastemon was really interesting. I enjoyed that matchup. We got pretty close to game 3, and it was really came down to me getting the out to Psychmon. I didn't have the out, and it was all close games no matter what it looked like. I had him down, really grounded down to like nothing. 1 security left and all in the last 2 games, but Psychmon just prevailed. Then we had none other than the famous security control deck. It is a purple-yellow deck. There was nothing too out of the ordinary there. It's just a grind matchup. You have to force their hand to reveal how many Chaos Degradations they have in their hand, because then that means how close you can get to the Chaos Degradation in the requirements. That is just basically what's happening there, and I think that's really huge there, is just seeing where that happens. And the minusing DP doesn't really matter to the Reaper, because depending on how you swing, your number of swings can easily add up to the point where you swing in a couple times, your guy's big enough to the minus DP effect, and if you keep swinging, you're getting bigger and bigger. It didn't really matter. So that's just one big play piece there. Next, we faced against Metal Guru. Gatekeeper definitely put in work in that matchup, just getting it down soon enough to prevent the multi-hits. That's really what it comes down to. Then we went against Armor. DeathX really puts in work, and Gatekeeper really put in work. Just knowing when to swing and deal with the deletion and on-deletion effects is really where half the battle comes into. Then we tied against Alphamon, which is really interesting. Game 1, he swung. He hit back-to-back Gatekeepers after blowing up one of my Gatekeepers. So that meant that he couldn't proceed more damage, and that was really a big turning point for us. We kind of just kept him in check, in balance, so that kind of just helped us win the game there. And then game 2, it really surprising. I don't understand how that game, even in reality, can end in a tie, but it ended up being weird. Game 2, he ended up winning, and then we were in the middle of game 3, and that was kind of just where the tie happened because we couldn't proceed further. Next, we did face against another security control player. This time, it had a splash of blue for Kakaitis Breath to help hopefully bounce stuff back. But the problem came down to stuff getting bounced back to my hand. Unless it's Reaper, doesn't really matter. It's more plussing for me, especially if I get to put another Gatekeeper back down. That's really important. And then we faced Mirror Match Reaper, and then finally, final round Reaper as well. I came in, sadly, like 5 minutes and 10 seconds late. So I got round 1 loss, but I proceeded game 1. Game 2, I ended up winning that matchup. I applied too much pressure for him to keep up, and that was really the game win there. And then game 3 was basically me getting double Gatekeeper down, and then a Death X the turn before. And you can't really do anything against that matchup, especially with double. If you've already set up double Gatekeeper and they're live, and then you have, you know, that. He was also teching in black, but he also had a really bad day, so he got really salty. I feel bad for him, but that's kind of just the experience I had for my getting to top 17. I really did enjoy the event, so hopefully let's dive into this. So guys, that's Mother D Reaper in a nutshell. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, you can catch more videos on this channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I have so many more BT9 deck profiles to show you guys. And remember, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!